What if the person slowly destroying your confidence was the one who says they love you the most? What if the real danger in your life isn't the one who yells, but the one who never shows emotion at all? Carl Jung believed the greatest psychological threats don't come from obvious evil, but from the unconscious behaviors of the people closest to us, and sometimes from parts of ourselves we've never dared to face. Today, we're going beyond typical red flags. We'll explore 8 dangerous psychological profiles that may already be shaping your life. Not to blame others, but to finally understand why something feels off. And the 8th one? It might explain why you keep choosing the same people over and over, even when it hurts. Stick around till the end, because the final insight might be the missing piece to your deepest patterns. 1. The silent projector. They never raise their voice. They never start fights. But somehow, you always end up feeling guilty. The silent projector doesn't even know they're doing it. They carry unhealed wounds, and without realizing it, they make you carry them too. If they feel rejected, you're the one who's pulling away. If they're angry, it must be your fault. Even if you didn't do anything, you start second-guessing yourself, replaying conversations, wondering, did I do something wrong? This is projection, and Jung warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. But it's not fate. It's someone using you as a mirror for a shadow they refuse to see. 2. The perfect mask. They're polite, put together, always saying the right thing. But why does it feel like you're talking to a character, not a real person? This is the persona, the social mask we wear to survive. And some people become so attached to it, they forget who they are without it. With them, you can't cry too hard. You can't laugh too loud. You can't be too real. It's like living in a play where improvisation is forbidden. One mistake and suddenly the air changes. But this isn't peace. It's emotional censorship. And slowly, you start wearing a mask too. Jung believed that true wholeness requires breaking the mask. Because if someone stays hidden behind it, they don't just lose themselves. They pull others into their performance. 3. The Shadow Denier. They never get angry, never show jealousy, always seem above it all. But one day, a small trigger, and boom, a volcano erupts. This is what Jung called the shadow, all the parts of ourselves we reject. And when someone buries theirs for too long, it doesn't die. It grows claws. They hold everyone to impossible standards. They seem calm until they snap. And when they do, you're the one who gets blamed. You start tiptoeing, trying to be good enough, not realizing their rage has nothing to do with you. The brighter the persona, the darker the shadow, Jung said. And if it's never faced, it doesn't just break the person, it breaks the relationship. 4. The moral enforcer. They seem wise, spiritual, righteous, but everything you do is either right or wrong. There's no middle ground, no curiosity, just judgment. This person isn't looking to understand. They're looking to control. They might say they're helping or educating, but you can feel it, the shame creeping in. You start shrinking, filtering your instincts, editing your words. Jung saw this coming. He said excessive morality is often just a shield, used to hide the person's own disowned desires. They're not correcting you because they're wise. They're doing it because they're afraid of their own impulses. 5. The Complex Reactor. Some days they love you. Other days it's like you don't exist. You never know what version you'll get. This isn't moodiness. This is a complex, a splintered piece of the psyche that hijacks the present. You say something harmless and suddenly they're angry. Not at you, but at someone from the past, living through your face. You start walking on eggshells, apologizing for emotions that aren't yours. But Jung warned, complexes are the building blocks of the psyche, and if someone never unpacks them, they live in the past and drag you into it too. 6. The energy drainer. They're not cruel. They're not loud. In fact, they seem helpless, sweet, in need. But somehow, after every conversation you feel exhausted. This is the psychic vampire, not in a fantasy sense, in a psychological one. They depend on your validation, your energy, your stability. At first it feels noble to help, but soon you realize your life revolves around their storms. You feel guilty for needing space, selfish for setting boundaries. But this isn't love, it's emotional codependence. Jung described this as regressive symbiosis, a refusal to carry one's own emotional weight. And the longer you carry it for them, the more you forget what your own weight feels like. 7. The quiet competitor. They support you, smile for you, say all the right things, but something doesn't add up. When you shine, they dim the light. When you win, they change the topic. This isn't hate, it's envy, one of the most denied human emotions. The quiet competitor can't celebrate you because they haven't accepted themselves. They don't want to bring you down, but your success reminds them of their stagnation. And if you don't notice this pattern, you'll keep shrinking yourself to keep them comfortable. 8. The fused identity. The one most people miss. They say, you're my everything. I don't know who I am without you. It sounds romantic until you realize you're not their partner. You're their identity. They start dressing like you, thinking like you, needing you to breathe. Jung called this fusion a collapse of boundaries. They don't want connection. They want to become you. And at first it feels flattering, but over time you feel smothered, responsible, afraid to grow because they might break. This is not love. This is dependency disguised as devotion. And if you don't reclaim your space, you'll lose yourself trying to hold them together. Now take a breath. How many of these patterns have you seen in your life? life? And how many have quietly lived inside you? That's not a flaw. That's the beginning of freedom. These people aren't evil. They're unconscious. And as Jung said, the most dangerous thing is not the darkness in others, but the darkness in ourselves that we refuse to see. So don't just listen. Look inward. Which part hit you hardest? Let us know in the comments. Your story might be the one that finally helps someone else wake up. And if this gave you even one moment of clarity, share it with someone who needs it. Because the real work begins now. Subscribe for more psychology that doesn't just sound smart. It helps you live smarter. Until next time, stay awake.